So first off, for this week, quick thoughts on Hardcore Henry. I wouldn't go as far as only giving it 1.5 stars like AJ did. I'd say it's somewhere around the 2 thing on the 4-point scale. I'd say it's somewhere around the 2 because I was surprised at how well it worked. You know, I went openly thinking I'm probably going to walk out of this ill, and amazingly I didn't. They managed to keep it steady. Although all those comments that I made when the trailer got unveiled a few months back all of a sudden mean absolutely nothing, because I can now see why it could never be done actually for VR headsets, because yeah, that would actually make people nauseous. You know, it's a fun little sort of popcorn, you know, leave your brain at the door sort of thing. I do find it ironic, though, that over here we're getting a film by the name of Criminal, which is the new Kevin Costner thing. So if you remember, this is technically his next action film after 3 Days to Kill, which got very roundly panned by the critics. So was ironically Criminal. But the thing is, I've seen a trailer through Twitch ads, or those YouTube ads or something. They're saying it's the must-see film event of the summer. That's exactly what they said for Hardcore Henry. Except, of course, Hardcore Henry's got something going for it because it's a unique, or a somewhat unique take. There's been other movies which have been shot majoritively from first person. Or fully first person, anyway. Either way, you know, I thought it was not too bad. The fact as well that it was an Indiegogo project, so once again crowdfunding. You know, that film crowdfunding to me was more entertaining than quite a lot of Batman v Superman, which had, I don't know, a budget and a giant Hollywood studio of hundreds of millions. Whereas this one was probably on, well, I'd say at least, probably, I'd be kind enough to say 10 million, but I don't know how much it would have raised exactly through the Indiegogo. Either way, it's an enjoyable bit of tosh. That's all I can really say. But the big thing is the video game BAFTAs. And I never thought I'd say this, but I somehow think that these are now one of the worst awards. Previously, they were very interesting because they seemed to be away from sort of the bias and everything of other award ceremonies. But there was a heavy thing here towards giving recognition to, I mean, practically every single award, bar, like, I think the major one, went to small/independent studios. In the most part. Because there was a big debacle last year when last year's Game of the Year was Destiny. And literally, there was sort of a silence for a few seconds and then polite applause. It was like, yep, well, they won. Don't know how. So, then we get to this year. So I'm going to go through them in alphabetical order, bar the big one, Best Game. Actually, first mention the Fellowship Award went to John Carmack, founder and creator of Doom and everything, and arguably the innovator of the first-person genre of video games. Sort of ironically ties to Hardcore Henry, but well-deserved recipient and a nice little speech. A lot of people were surprised that the speech didn't go on for longer, because John Carmack's speeches, normally when they happen, go on for about as long as Batman v Superman. The thing is, they're still enthralling, even though they're 2.5 hours long. Sometimes they feel like a bit of a slog to sit through, though, admittedly, but that you can tell by the way he delivers it, he has passion in what he's talking about, which is the most important thing. So, artistic achievement went to Ori and the Blind Forest, beating Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Batman Arkham Knight, Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Witcher 3. Audio achievement went to Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, beating out Assassin's Creed, Batman, Metal Gear, Star Wars Battlefront, and Witcher 3. Best debut game. Now, this was a really good list. We had Her Story taking the win, but the other contenders were Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, Mini Metro, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Prune. So a really sort of a strong list there, I would say, for the debut category. For Best British Game, apparently it went to Batman Arkham Knight. Let me just check something. Batman Arkham Knight. Where was it developed? Hang on. Development. Okay, I'm going to Wiki, because that's the best I can do. I think just because of what happened with the PC port, and the fact that that was shipped out to a non-British based studio. Here we go, Rocksteady Studios, based in London. Okay. But I'm pretty sure quite a lot of the people that worked on it were based out of Warner Brothers' other headquarters around the world. But I guess there's the loophole or something. So yeah, I was a bit surprised by that. Especially, you know, you had also had Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Her Story, Prison Architect, Tearaway Unfolded, and Until Dawn. Again, there, Until Dawn, you wouldn't think that's a British game. Apparently it is. Best Family Game went to Rocket League, beating Disney Infinity, FIFA, Guitar Hero, Lego Dimensions, and Super Mario Maker. Best Game Design went to Bloodborne, beating Grow Home, Her Story, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, Rocket League, and Witcher 3. Best Game Innovation went to Her Story. Other nominees were Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Life is Strange, Metal Gear Solid 5, Splatoon, and Until Dawn. I think the innovation there was it was obviously a very unique experience with you having to look at various tapes and whatever and piece things together. So it was literally as if you were doing the same job that the character is doing in the game, not going any further into it. The Esports Audience Award went to Smite, which was, I mean, I didn't see that coming. The One to Watch Award went to Sundown, which, if you do manage to catch like an archive of the stream or look at it, it looks a very beautiful looking game. So I'm hoping that we get some good stuff from them somewhere down the line. You never know. Best mobile and handheld game. We had Her Story win, despite the fact it was on handheld, but it was also on PC. Going up against Alpha Bear, Fallout Shelter, Lara Croft Go, Prune, and The Room 3. All of which are mobile exclusive. So, you know, a game that wasn't just on mobile or handheld beat the games that are just on mobile and handheld. Although, let's be honest, out of the list of those 6, I'm pretty sure none of them are on a handheld console. There's no 3DS games in that list. There's no no Vita games in that list, which is, to be honest, makes sense because there aren't that, you know, there's hardly any Vita games really out released out that are probably in contention for that. But if you call it mobile and handheld, try and make it so there actually is like a handheld game in there. I don't know. Best multiplayer went to Rocket League, beating Destiny, Lovers in Dangerous Space Times, Platoon, Rainbow Six Siege, and World of Warships. Best music went to Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, beating out Arkham Knight, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Fallout 4, Halo 5, and Ori and the Blind Forest. Best original property, so I guess best new IP, went to Until Dawn, beating out Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Her Story, Life is Strange, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Splatoon. Best performance went to Merle Dandridge for her character in Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Yeah, Alex Vance from Half-Life Episode 2, Half-Life 2, I guess I should say, and Episode 1. And was it Episode 2? Yeah, I think so. Beating out Ashley Birch for Life is Strange, Doug Cockle for Witcher 3, Oliver Dimsdale for Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Mark Hamill for Batman Arkham Knight, and Masasa Moyo for Broken Age Act 2, which that's the second part of a full game. So, best persistent game, which is basically a game that's active even when you're not. Really pleased to see go to Prison Architect. I've pretty much seen that in development over the various conventions that I've been to since it would have been 2013. It might have even been back at EGX 2012. Certainly Res 2013. Or was that 14? No. 13 was there, and it was there. So yeah, it's been 3 years since then now, and it's good to see that that it's got recognition. Beat out Destiny, Taken King, Final Fantasy XIV, Realm Reborn, Guitar Hero, Lego Dimensions, and Witcher 3. Then the best one, best sports game. You had Dirt Rally, you had FIFA 16, you had Pro Evo Soccer, you had Football Manager 2016, you had Forza 6. All lost to Rocket League. So yeah, the games about motor racing and football, which are actually sports, got beaten by the one that isn't a sport, aka the RC cars basically playing soccer. Genius. I just love that. It was like, so the game that isn't really a sport, but is a sport, won. Success. Best story went to Life is Strange, beating out Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Her Story, Undertale, which was surprisingly that game's only nomination in this list. Also Until Dawn and Witcher 3. So even before I get to the Game of the Year stuff, I think it's good that the mainstream stuff has missed out and there's been some recognition. But the thing is, I feel that in some points it just feels like BAFTA have done it to just go away from the curve of quite a lot of the other big industry people going for the big games and giving them the plaudits there. Also, the fact that Undertale only got recognition for story when the guy designed the thing and did all the music for it, which I still think is one of the best soundtracks from last year's set of games. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture's pretty nice in its audio achievement and its music achievement, but sometimes it can be just as simple as sort of like a 8-bit, 16-bit sort of score that can hook you in a lot better than some of these giant orchestral sort of magnum opus sort of things do. Bloodborne, getting a nod for game design. You know, some of them did feel like, here's one there, like the Batman Arkham Knight thing. Sort of doesn't fit. But then we come to Game of the Year. The BAFTAs decided to give it to Fallout 4, which I think would make it the first one of them that they won. So I think most other people have given it to like Bloodborne or A Witcher 3. Mainly them two. So the fact that they gave it to Fallout 4 already sort of sees it as trying to break away from the curve, because I think Witcher 3 got it at the GDC Awards, or the DICE Awards, I think the DICE Awards that happened a few weeks back in San Francisco. And of course that means that, and I feel rightfully so because of the way they've handled the situation, Metal Gear Solid 5 got no awards. So that I'm pleased about. What I'm not pleased about is that Witcher 3 hasn't got any recognition at all from BAFTA. I think, considering, let me just have a look, it was up for 7 awards and it got nothing. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture won 3 out of its 10 nominations. Her Story got 3 from its 7, and Rocket League was arguably the most successful game, taking 3 awards from a possible 5 categories that it was nominated for. But yeah, the fact that Witcher 3 doesn't get any recognition at all, I think is sort of a little bit unfair, and you know, even some of the people from the studios were, especially Sam Barlow, because he practically did everything in regards to Her Story. You know, he openly said, you know, sort of in a joking manner, you know, I don't, you know, I've only got so much room underneath my chair. And the thing is, there were sort of gasps, but I think because of the way that you could tell that he was talking about the thing, what he meant by that is there's plenty of other people that are more deserving of awards than me. He's a very sort of humble guy. You know, the fact that people went, oh, it's like, geez, this is an awards ceremony with a guy who, you know, basically got tired out and exhausted through the system. You know, he worked for Konami. He was one of the guys behind, I think it was Silent Hill Homecoming. You know, the last actually sort of pretty good Silent Hill game before it really fell off. And the fact that he left that to then do this idea that he's had for years and do it himself because nobody wanted to give him recognition. And the fact all of a sudden people are, you know, handing plaudits to him. He's not going to be the style of person that's going to be like, yeah, give me all the award. You know, the Rocket League guy sort of made fun of it, saying, you know, I've got plenty of room underneath my chair. And it, like, got a round of applause, but it's like, in that sense, you know, for them, it's been a sort of different side to the thing. The fact that they had this concept that they believed in, and again, sort of without any major publishers, you know, they took it, they had their fan base already from the previous iteration sort of the game. Released it to the world, it caught on and became the smash hit that it did. Those two games have very different trajectories, but in essence, very similar stories. It's two guys with something that they believed in, went with it, and they're rightfully getting the recognition. I just think some games, like the fact that, obviously you can't give Witcher 3 Best British Game, but the fact that, some of the stuff that really should have got some sort of recognition didn't, other than being nominated, I think is somewhat a little bit harsh. The mobile thing, I would have personally given it to Lara Croft Go or Fallout Shelter, or even Room 3. That game is really good. I have to get round to finishing Lara Croft Go and probably giving it some sort of review on here, even though it won't be visual because it's guerrilla style video stuff. Artistic achievement tour in the Blind Forest, no complaints to that. Audio achievement, the audio for Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is good. I don't think that could have been one where it's like give it to Witcher, because Witcher's got a lot going in it. See, Fallout doesn't, but then again you have to take into account that Fallout never has won this award before. So Todd at Bethesda, who's been working on these games ever since the first one, finally has an award for himself. I think from what the overall consensus of a lot of people have said, it isn't probably as good as Fallout 3 or Vegas were, because it is still using that engine. But or a souped up version of that engine, but it doesn't make sense. A British game, I have no clue. Debut game, her story. But as he says, he's been in the industry for about 10 years before this, so the fact that it's classified as a debut game does make sense because it's him on his own, but I don't know. Family game, I don't think Witcher 3 would qualify for that. Game design, it sort of made sense for Bloodborne because it is that, such a beautiful game. What other categories was it in? Music? No, it wasn't in music. Wow, wasn't it? Performer. The fact that the performances of the majority of those people that were nominated there are voice-only things, especially with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, because, spoilers, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. So it's just like lights talking. Doug Cockle, from what I can tell, did it in sort of the Uncharted Last of Us Naughty Dog style of doing mocap as well as doing the voice work. Persistent game, I wouldn't take that away from BioShock. Life is Strange, I wouldn't take it away for story, because I'd like to give it some recognition. So, I mean, it's, looking at it on paper, it seems harsh, I guess, but it isn't, but it is. I don't know. I think overall, these awards have obviously wound up the season, and to me it just felt like they gave the recognition to the games that didn't get recognition from all the other award ceremonies over the past 6 months or so, going from the Golden Joysticks to the Game Awards to the GDC Awards to all the websites giving their games of the year, to the DICE Awards as part of GDC. Yeah. Now that's over and done with. Now we can just focus on games for the upcoming months. I say upcoming months, we're only 2 months to E3. And that's when shit hits the fan again, son.